Hello. So I just came back from the movie theater and I just finished seeing Spider-Man No Way Home, and a bitch has thoughts. Like everything, a bitch has thoughts and I want to share them with people. So I'm making a video with my thoughts and my questions. Very excited to share it all with you. So if you have not seen the movie, please scroll the fuck away from this video because I'm gonna be going through a hell of a lot of spoilers because it's just so much that happens. It's just so much that happens. So from this point on, I'm telling you spoilers ahead about the movie. All right. So first, let's get into where exactly this movie takes place. We are in New York City. Tom Holland is our Spider-Man. This is the reality that we are in. And we know that because of the unfinished Statue of Liberty, that this movie definitely takes place before the Hawkeye series. We know that because the Hawkeye series shows us a reimagined Statue of Liberty with a couple of Avengers weaponry on it, and we get to see the Avengers musical. At this point in No Way Home, we know essentially that bitch ain't finished. So we know that we fall somewhere between after the 5-year blip, and we're before the finished Statue of Liberty. So that's where we are. Tom Holland is our Spider-Man. We know that the Avengers are in our reality. They exist. We have lost some people. We have some new people in our reality as well. But the whole premise of this film is that everyone knows Tom Holland's identity, and it's a shitty experience for him and his close ones. People don't like Spider-Man. He's having a real image issue, okay? And he goes to Doctor Strange in his big black puffer jacket, because Doctor Strange, it was snowing in his sanctum as we saw from the trailer. He goes to Doctor Strange to fix a spell so that nobody remembers who Tom Holland is in this world. But because Tom's big ass mouth kept going, and every single iteration of the spell, it goes amok, and different people from different spider universes come into our reality here. Okay, so I'm not gonna do a play-by-play. Now I'm gonna move to the themes that I saw in the movie. And for me, there are about 4 major themes. So the first big one is this idea of home, right? The movie is titled No Way Home. And essentially, I feel that once you have finished watching the movie, you will think, what does that mean to people? And for each of our characters, it means something different. And for even ourselves, right? It means something different. What does home mean to us? For some people, it's an actual location, right? For the people of New York in the MCU, home is New York City. For the Avengers, home was Earth, right? But it's not always a place for people. It's for some, the people that surround you. So in watching this movie, it really makes you think, who surrounds Peter Parker in general? And why, what does that mean for him, and what does it signify, right? For Tom Holland, we see that home is Aunt May, R.I.P., Happy, Ned, and MJ. For Andrew Garfield, and he's in this film, for Andrew Garfield, we really see that it's Gwen Stacy, and when she died in his universe, he ain't had nobody. He was on a lone path. For Tobey Maguire, we see that it's really MJ. He doesn't really talk too much about how he's doing. He just mentions that, like a little line of how him and MJ got it together. We don't know what that means, what it looked like, if they have a baby, but we just know they got it together. That's it. But for all of these Spider-Men in this film, we get the idea that home is the fact that they all chose, after being bitten, to put on a mask and to save their neighborhood and to be the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. And that's what their general mission is, right? And in the film, we see that although 2 of our, well, at this point, all 3 of them in a way are lonely because their version of home is either gone or is about to be lost, they find home in each other. Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland, because they all have chosen this job, right? This idea of home is also very important for our villains, because we learn that at the moment that they are coming into Tom Holland's reality, right after the spell is cast, the way that they came in is because they were about to die in their reality. Okay, so let me say it again. We learned that the villains come into our reality because they, in their versions of their Spider-Man, they are about to die. I'm gonna put a pin in that, in a thought that I have about that, up until a later point into this video. But they essentially view home as a negative thing, as opposed to our Spider-Men, who view it as a positive thing that they have to stand for. The villains are just like, home is a barrier to life, honey. I am not trying to go in a casket. I am not trying to die, so I'm gonna stay here. Like, you know, it's a sure thing that I'm gonna die in my reality if you send me home, so I'm staying here. So the villains' sort of reasoning for fighting and just being here is that they don't want to die, right? So this idea, this theme of home, really showing the characters' motivations, really showing why they are fighting so hard for what they're fighting for. We see that the villains are fighting not just to run away from home, but to run towards a second chance at life. Which brings me to my second theme, which is second chances. Who is giving them, and what are you going to do with it this time around, right? So with them, for the villains, they have a second chance at healing. They have a second chance of being able to re-enter their reality with the ability to control their power and change their future. Specifically, Green Goblin, we see that he doesn't want that second chance, right? We learn that he has another voice. Like, there are two sides to him, like a Jekyll and a Hyde, and Dr. Jekyll doesn't want to leave. Dr. Jekyll wants to stay here because in this reality, he's not dead. He's able to take over New York City and can kill all the Spider-Men. But his Hyde wants to live. His Hyde wants to go back and see his son. His Hyde is very confused about what exactly he has been doing. And I think it's very poignant because, at least for me, when I watched the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man series, I was just like, Green Goblin know what the fuck he doing. And from this movie, we are led into the fact that he doesn't. He doesn't remember. He got dissociative identity disorder. He don't know. For Andrew Garfield, he has a second chance at saving this reality's version of his Gwen Stacy, right? One thing about Andrew Garfield, when he is in this Spider-Man costume, honey, he knows how to cry. My man gonna put on the waterworks. He's going to cry. So we see that the death of Gwen Stacy really affected him and how he attacks being Spider-Man. So when he has the chance to save Tom Holland's MJ, he's just like, I got you. And even so, when he puts her back on the ground, he is crying hard as hell. We also see that he is given a second chance to save Electro and help him gain his humanity back. We see in his Spider-Verse, in his movies, Electro died. So he's able to kind of right that wrong in this iteration. For Tobey Maguire, he has a second chance to come back from that hollow-ass Spider-Man where he was all mad and he was wearing all black and just being real menacey. I didn't like him in that third one. He isn't my favorite Spider-Man. I always thought he looked like a weirdo to me, but it was nice to see him. But in this film, he's able to redeem from that. And if you remember, he really did kill a lot of people with Spider-Man. Like, he was just like, boom, you're dead. Boom, you're dead. Like, just killing everybody. And now he has a chance to kind of realize, okay, death isn't the answer to beating my villains. Let me change that. For Tom Holland, he has two major goals in this second chance theme. He has a second chance to undo what other Spider-Men in their realities have done, and kind of bring anew. If you watch the film, you'll see that each villain has their very angry view of their Spider-Man. Just like Doc Ock is just like, you stopped me from working with my technology and I was about to kill you. Green Goblin was just like, you know, I had Peter Parker by his throat and I was about to end him. Same for Sandman, same for the Reptile, same for Electro. Like, they all had their own version of, I didn't like Peter Parker in my version. And for us as fans, I think it brings a little bit like humanity, because for many of us, Tom Holland has signified like this intergalactic superhero. Like, he doesn't really have his own like villains, you know, like he doesn't have his own Doc Ock, he doesn't have his own Green Goblin. This dude is fighting Thanos. Like, he's going into space. He kicked Black Panther and was like asking physics questions in Civil War. He's not like this down-to-earth neighborhood Spider-Man, because he's moved on from just saving New York City. He's everywhere but nowhere at the same time. You know, so he's like the catalyst to helping our small town Spider-Man right their wrongs. He also is given the second chance to decide the villain's fate, right? A lot of our Marvel series, we are constantly questioning, how do we deal with these villains? Is death the answer? Do we put them in a casket? Do we kill them? Tom Holland said no, we don't, because what MJ said, with great power comes great responsibility. You know, I guess that's why she died, but might be a little early. Third theme, not all snaps are bad. I don't know if it was just me, but for me, when I saw Doctor Strange doing his spell the second time at the end of the movie, it was very reminiscent of Thanos with his snap, but it was a different feel. With Thanos, hope was gone. It was sad to watch our king T'Challa disappear. It was sad to see people be lost. We saw Hawkeye become Ronin, and he completely shed the hero identity and became an evil person, right? We've seen the effects of the blip, and it's not great. With Doctor Strange, we don't really know what it means, but I can say from the way that it happened, it felt more like a choice, right? So in a way, it kind of brings validity to Thanos's methods of, in saving the planet and saving your reality, in bringing a solution to the conflict. The method of a snap and moving people from the conflict is a good solution, but it needs to be more meaningful. Doctor Strange was very meaningful. He made sure everyone that was coming from a different universe didn't come here. Thanos, on the other hand, was just like, I'm gonna kill half y'all motherfuckers and I'm not gonna take attendance. Boom. And then he had the audacity to sit on a damn farm and eat some damn vegetables. So, and we see, and I think so many thoughts come up in this film, and with all the movies and TV shows that have kind of come out after Endgame, where it's just like, in What If, we see Thanos fighting for his life. In a What If episode, he's fighting for his life and explaining why he does what he does with snapping people, or why he thinks it's going to be a good solution. But here in this reality of No Way Home, we see that it kind of is a good solution when used poignantly, not just absent-mindedly being like, I'm going to snap half the people in the world. No, I'm going to strategically snap people out. We don't know what happens to these people. Who knows if Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield will ever pick up the suit again, and we'll be able to see what happens. And I'm gonna talk about this in another segment, but who the fuck knows, right? To sum up this theme, we do not know what the effects are from Doctor Strange's snap, right? But we can assume that it's something positive. Okay. Final theme for me that really stuck out: Spider-Verse. Will we see this happen again, where different spider people from different realities come in? And I think yes. Although the argument could be made that at the end of No Way Home, Doctor Strange avoided another Spider-Verse because he closed the different realities, and we see the solution of erasing Tom Holland from everyone's mind as avoiding the multiverse. But let's look at other Marvel content, right? We see from Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, where our Spider-Man is Miles Morales in the post-credit scene. And we see that Spider-Man 2099 actually has a time travel watch. And he, at the end of the post-credit scene, went back to the first Spider-Man. And we don't really know too much about his methods and why he's jumping through different realities. We just know that he has the ability to. So I do presume that we will have another Spider-Verse happen. As this film was amazing. This was the best way to spend my birthday. It was absolutely amazing, and I just love the film. I think with just final thoughts, it was amazing to see Andrew Garfield jump through the portal and say, "I'm Spider-Man," take the mask off. The hair still looks crazy, but for him to say, "I'm Spider-Man," to see Tobey Maguire in all his generic white manness just walk through and say, "I'm Spider-Man," it was just so much fun to see them talk about spinning webs and how Tobey is basically part spider. Was just amazing, and to see the little tidbits of it, it was just fun to watch. I loved when they were giving Andrew his little pep talk, because fans have been coming at his neck for years talking about how he's the most useless Spider-Man. And it was nice to see. It really made me smile. I was doing like call and responses. I loved how Jamie spoke for the entire Black community, especially after Stan Lee said that Spider-Man wears a mask and he's supposed to be Black. But it took a very long time for us to get a Black Spider-Man. And he was like, "Damn, all this time I'm fighting with you. I thought you was gonna be Black. Really? Like, ain't no Black Spider-Man?" Yes, Jamie. Yes. But we got one. He coming. His movie comes out in the spring next year. It was a good movie. It was a good movie. Wasn't that difficult to follow. I feel like if you haven't watched every Marvel piece of content that came out, you won't be lost in watching this film. It's fun to see, easy to digest, and I love the post-credit scene. I'm excited to see how they're gonna bring that in with Tom Holland, because we see that Venom was very interested in being attached to Tom Holland in his Venom 2 post-credit scene. But what we see in the No Way Home post-credit scene is that Eddie and Venom get sent back to their reality, but a piece of Venom stays. So what does that mean? I think it means that Tom Holland is going to come up against this Venom symbiote, fight him, and then get attached. And we're going to see him with a black suit, which we kind of got a taste of, but now we're going to see that Venom correlation. Overall, I think it was good. I'm not going to nitpick it. It was good. A damn good film. I'm going to go watch it again. Good birthday. Thank you, Marvel, for releasing this on my birthday. You're so amazing. Tell me what you thought about it, because I thought it was amazing. All right.